Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you here with me today. Now, and today we are continuing what is at this current moment in time a 10 win streak on Marvel Rivals Ranked. This is my Road to Celestial series where I mostly focus on being Strange and Magneto. So far, mostly Magneto. But there is a little bit of Wolverine thrown in there as well. I think there might be a game coming up in the future where I'm a healer. But today, I want to try and again make the Magneto work. But as you'll see, there is a time where I do need to change, because in this game, I'll a little bit of a foreshadowing, or I suppose just spoiling it. I suppose our Strange is holding the fort down as a main tank pretty damn well, allowing me to flex a little bit. As you're going to see, and there's a clutch play in this game, so definitely stick it out. Now, I hate it when people ban Groot as a Wolverine player, because I can just change to Wolverine and basically just make it so they don't have a tank. But unfortunately, not being in comms is kind of annoying for that factor that I can't tell them that, so I just roll with it. I like to ban Penny at the moment just purely because my friend likes to play DPS, and he's doesn't like the fact that he has to stop DPSing to try and help kill the nests if other people aren't doing their roles and such things like that. And I personally don't like being stunned every 2 seconds as well. You know, Mag is very predictable when his shield goes down and how long he's going to put it back up. So I get stunned a lot if I don't have, you know, things available, resources or something like that. So I just like to I like to get rid of Penny at the moment. You may have seen there in the chat, that was also a misclick on the bubble, didn't mean to do that. You'll see there on the chat, my friend was joking about being like top 500 or something. He's not. We both peaked in GM2, I think it was, in season 1.5, I believe. Because we didn't play ranked at all last season. We were just messing around trying to get lords and stuff. So ignore that. He's not a smurf. He's not carrying me. He is just as good as I am. Just different roles. But yeah, you'll see kind of just a standard play here. Just, you know, tanks just fighting each other. I see the Venom and I'm like, oh, a Wolverine would go tasty here. So I'm kind of scaling out the Strange and seeing what he's doing to see if I could go Wolf straight away, because they've got the Wolf and I'm like, this could be good. Without conversation, I found that me and the Strange were quite good at like swapping over. You know, he'd go forward and shield, I'd go forward and shield. Jeff, again, same as last video, clutch ult, gets the 2 tanks, and it's basically just clean up from there. Well, kinda. Bit of a slow cleanup, but a cleanup nonetheless. You know, we got our whole team basically, so it's not a big deal. That Wolverine's a little bit scary, but, you know, we do alright. Not too sure why our cloak ults there, if I saw that correctly. Yeah, she did ult. Yeah, I'm not too sure why she did that. It was basically just a Wolverine as far as I could see. But hey ho, you know, we win the fight. It's not the end of the world. Every now and then a cloak's going to do a bad ult, a Luna's going to do a bad ult. I mean, you saw in the last video I did bad ults. So obviously I get a bit frustrated with people at times, but the odd ult here and there, if we're doing well, you know, it's nothing to be concerned about. In my view, anyway. People that like scream at their supports for doing one bad ult at the beginning of the game is just ridiculous. Get over yourself is basically the way that I see it. Strange has a really big ult there. Unfortunately, the Jeff, I could have ulted to kind of like fly back up, but I opted against it, mostly because our healer was gone. So I probably would have died not long after. If I was lucky, I might have got a kill with it, but probably not. And I was just kind of thinking, you know what, I'm not going to bother. So yeah, hold the ult. By the way, I think, to be honest, most of them came from my Minecraft playthrough that I'm also doing on the hardcore world, but my subscriber count has really flown up since last episode. Going from none to, at this point in recording, 8 is huge for me, so thank you so much for the support. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, again, another great Jeff ult there. If you're not subscribed to the channel, it'd mean the world if you did. You know, it's free. Did I hit this one? Yeah, that was really unfortunate on that one. I don't quite know what happened, whether she like fell off the slope or something and I didn't quite see, but really unfortunate. But yeah, if you could drop me a like and a comment on this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and be sure to obviously check out other pieces of content. If you've got any suggestions, any feedback, anything like that, by all means send it my way. I'm huge on improvement and getting better, so whether it's feedback about the channel, feedback about my gameplay, let me know. But yeah, as you see, I've kind of not really done a lot because, you know, my duo here is doing quite well. My Strange was doing really well, the healers were doing really well, and I just felt like I could have been more beneficial as someone else. So, because I think Mag does really well as a solo tank, Strange does quite well as a solo tank, but I think the two of them together, they just basically steal from each other, and they're not necessary, really. Obviously, if we're getting like flattened and we need two tanks, then sure. But in this kind of game, I didn't think it was necessary. Although I started picking up a little bit, get a few final hits, get a few kills and such. You'll notice as well that I don't bubble myself very often, because while obviously his shield is very predictable and so on, his shield is incredibly good because it has an infinite amount of absorb for as far as it's up. So I like to save my bubble for other people, typically in this case my duo, because, you know, Mr. Fantastic just cleaving through your team and not being able to do anything to him because of the bubble. Then comes out the bubble, has the puffed up chest mode. That's over. Then he has like the big beefy boy mode. By the time that's over with, he gets my bubble. You can pretty much just make him invincible. So that's why I often don't bubble myself. I can't really remember this round. I might not even change this game, actually. I know there's a section where I do definitely change, but I can't remember if it's this game or the next one now. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, but... Oh yeah, I'm top 50 Spidey on my main. Jesus Christ, that's my duo chatting out his ass. He's good Spidey, definitely a good Spidey, but top 50, no. I would be surprised if either of us are in the top 10,000 in any of the roles that we play. So yeah, it's like more of this, like the Strange is just doing really good, and obviously our Punisher as well. You've probably seen him getting a lot of final hits. Our Punisher's doing bits that like just cleaning up. So again, as I've already kind of stated, it just felt like there wasn't much need for me. Strange's shield is obviously bigger. It's his ult is more impactful for wiping a team. Obviously mine's more impactful for if there's like a cloak or whatever, but his ult is more impactful for wiping a team and things like that. So I was just kind of thinking, you know what, I'm not really doing a lot. I do actually remember how this ends. You'll probably notice towards the end, but there, Wolverine, I'm pretty sure he's still Wolverine, but he's just stood and spawn. I'm pretty sure he gave up after the last game. So I actually don't end up changing this game because there's no need, really. If they'd started like messing us up, then I would have done. But I opted not to ult for that reason. She just walked out of her ult towards the point, just completely making it a free kill. And by the time I'd noticed that she was ulting, or like where she was during her ult, she would have had enough time to just go to cloak and then shroud herself. So I just didn't bother. But as you see, we're not struggling this game anyway, so there's really no need to worry about ults and things like that. Ignore my accuracy there. As you'll see from like the far right, I was having like a little bit of like delay-esque kind of, not so much jittery, which was useful, but definitely a little bit of delay in my gameplay, which was definitely not like massively impactful in a negative sense, but there were little times where it kind of was noticeable, and I was like, oh, don't like this. But yeah, and that's the excuses out of the way. But yeah, apologies if you can hear my chair creaking. But yeah, my duo there laughing at the fact that the Emma died to the actual Strange ult explosion, and not like, I don't know why he found that so funny, but he did. He was chuckling to me in the voice chat. And there we go, easy win, as it says there, easy win, making that an 11 game winning streak at this current moment in time. You know, our healers, they were doing bits, our Strange was doing bits, the Punisher doing bits, all round. Actually, in that one, my duo wasn't even actually doing as well as normal, to be fair. I have to call him out on that. But yeah. Definitely a solid game. There you go, like going up to midway through Diamond 2. And then, yeah, not much I can really say for that, to be honest. It was just an easy win. No real difficulty. This game, a little bit more difficult, I will admit. And this is where I do change, I remember now. I get that last map and this one mixed up a little bit. And as you'll see here, we got pretty much the same team. I don't know if the Who's Lock-In and Storm at the moment was on our last thing, but we got the Strange, we got the Jeff, the same one before, the Punisher and everything. So, you know, I was pretty confident in this game, to be honest, considering how well we played the last one. I opted to go for the Magneto again, despite the fact this is the same team, purely because if they were going to stomp us and we needed 2 solid tanks, then it's there. If not, then I can obviously change quite comfortably. I had trust in the Strange, so it was you know, easy peasy decision. So I opted to go for the mag. I have sped this up a little bit here for you as well. But yeah, I mean, everyone keeps banning Iron Man. And I know everyone complains about like the flying meta and yada yada yada. And I kind of get that, but as a mag player, I don't feel like the flyers are that big of a deal. So I never really personally opt to go for them. And at this level of play as well, what I found is that the Ultrons are bloody useless. So as far as like the Iron Man giving the Ultron a team up and vice versa and stuff, I find it just doesn't matter. I imagine when you get into like, you know, mid to high Grandmaster Celestial kind of range, it will do. But at this point, I have not come across this a Ultron in any of the games that was even remotely concerning. And bearing in mind, this has taken me a little bit of time to edit and such things like that, voiceover, because I got my normal job that I got to do. Then I got to try and have the kids out the house and my partner so that I can actually get time to record. So bearing in mind, this game is probably from like a week ago. But you'll see, I'm pretty sure I opt to change fairly quickly, just purely because, like I said, the Strange was holding it down. I noticed that they had a mag, so I wanted to displace him. And like I mentioned a moment ago, a Groot. It's like, cool, I'm just gonna make it so you don't have fun with the Wolf, as you'll see very shortly. Their Groot actually was decent. I know it's not a very good showing here, but I remember thinking like even with Wolf, I was still having to think. You know, it wasn't just like a Wolverine's claws go brrr kind of thing. I was still definitely having to think about what I was doing. But yeah, me and the Strange again, kind of like swapping over a little bit. I feel like me and the Strange would have been a really good tank duo if we were on comms, because there was a couple of times we were both doing it at the same time, and then sometimes we would go into sync. So it was kind of like a, yeah, if we were on comms, it would have been even better. Unfortunately, our Luna died, and I was like, you know what? These tanks, they're kind of walking through us a little bit. Our team was holding well. The healers were doing well, but they were just simply out thinking us. So I was like, cool, Wolverine it is then. My sort of second main. Ignore that. I need to get better at that. I really do. I know last video, I'm pretty sure I referenced that I messed up the, or at least I did mess up the bunny hop. For those of you that don't know, and I'm sure everybody knows now because it's probably common knowledge, but things like Loki clones and Groot Wall and all that lot, they all build up rage. I was very passive at this beginning part, which I didn't really ignore that. I'd said it to my friend down the comments. I was like, you ready for an awoo moment? And then just did it and sort of messed around. But I didn't realize until I was doing the first sort of watch through to change the times and speeding up and such things like that, how passive I actually played at this beginning part. And I definitely think that that was part of the problem as to why, you know, nothing was really happening. Our team was doing good, so it definitely wasn't a concern. I do pick it up, you know, I do definitely do something with it eventually, as you'll see very shortly. But I'm not sure how I got him. I honestly thought I was going to get the Adam. I was literally about to ult there. It would have been such a good ult, but it's right. I ended up ulting there, getting the double kill. Not on the ult, but one of them, and then the double kill, and then I got a triple there. So this is kind of like the power of Wolverine, so to speak. You know, if you've got some tanks that aren't going to deal with you, or if you've got no one on their team that's going to counter you, it's pretty easy peasy, really. I have no idea how I got the Groot there, but sort of helped my duo get his kills. I think he ended up getting a triple there because I know he got a kill just before he started his ult. That was unfortunate that he died. It would have been a nice little grab. My friend was also complaining here because he was about to die, so I was trying to get my face in the way basically to absorb some damage, and it ended up working out. They tried to go to the thing, I'm assuming to counter me, which, you know, makes sense as far as stopping me from doing my abilities. But thing is such a huge target that it's just, I feel like it just feeds Wolverine even more. And like, yeah, he could stop me from doing my abilities, but if he's done obviously the ground pound thing, but he just feeds my damage, feeds my rage. It just, I don't think thing, and I'm sure people of higher caliber player will disagree with me here, but I don't feel like thing is a counter to Wolverine. Oh yeah, I tried to one-on-one him because I knew he was just going to mess me up. Obviously I was never going to win a 1v1 against a Spider-Man in that instance, especially with damage reduction, getting the drop on me half health, but you know, it happens. There's been times when I've caught Spider-Man out the air with my leap and messed them up, so you know, it happens both ways. I didn't like that strange portal because, as you see here, like it got me shredded. Oh, and the cloak, I remember now, the cloak, and it happens to the best of us, but the cloak ulted, I'm assuming thinking she'd go through the portal, and ulted on the other side of the portal, as you can see there very briefly. I was a bit frustrated, I won't lie. I didn't obviously call her out on it or anything, and I didn't really moan too much, but like in my head I was like, Jesus Christ, just literally take the time to jump and then go through, especially considering I think, because obviously it's the same team, I think that's the same cloak as last game, but I can't remember who was playing who in terms of names and stuff, so maybe it wasn't. But yeah, I was a little bit annoyed because it was like, all you have to do is just take the time to just quickly jump, and then that team fight could have been ours. And by this point, obviously, it was getting a bit nerve-wracking. But here's the clutch play. Scoop, boom, triple, easy peasy. Giving our team time to get back. And then it is just clean up. 2 healers gone, DPS gone. My duo kills the thing. I yoink the Star-Lord, kill the Star-Lord, and then kill the mag. So obviously I got a triple and then a double, but I pretty much got a pentakill, winning us that round. So if you can get that ult off, Wolverine can do bits. I will admit, I hate that they nerfed it by that 0.5 of a second, purely because it felt unnecessary. But at the same point, when you have moments like that, that was with the 0.5 second nerf to it, and the healers still weren't able to do anything. Here you'll see that we're chatting in the group, in the team chat. The reason why is we had a Jeff and a Storm, and they weren't ulting together. And there was various reasons. Obviously, as you see, it says there, I was trying to clear the point and yada yada yada. And you know, it could have gone better had we had that combination, but it definitely wasn't necessary. But you know, I just put it here, just try to combo if possible, because it's not always possible. Sometimes a Storm will see like a bunch of people really low, throw it out. Sometimes the last ditch effort from Jeff is necessary. So I'm not hugely against them not combining, but if possible, then to combine. And obviously, yeah, the cloak apologizing for their ult. You know, it happens. Like I said last game, that last cloak threw their ult out too early. This cloak, she kind of did it wrong. In the last video, cloak did their ult wrong. It's kind of funny how often cloaks actually mess up their ult, considering it is probably the easiest ult to just do and get value from, besides maybe Star-Lord. But definitely one of the healers, in my opinion. Just because you just lay out and let your team walk into it. With Luna, you kind of got to chase your team around a little bit if they've got like no awareness. With cloaks, you spread it across a whole battlefield, and it's like if you die at that point, then as in the teammates, it's kind of your own fault, really. But yeah, there's just another one of those things where Wolverine's just doing his bits, just damaging, shredding people. I was glad that I got the triple on that. As you see, literally, I got so many triples. I think I got 3 triples so far, a double earlier, and stuff like that. It's like Wolverine, if you know what you're doing with him, and if the team aren't willing to deal with you very well, like, you will do bits. I was really hoping that they wouldn't notice me, and then I can kind of get behind them, get my ult off, but they did. I kind of semi-waste my ult here, but I still do something with it. Kinda. My teammates killed them. And again, this mag just massively out of position. Well, not out of position, sorry, that's the wrong word, but like just not being aware. Like your whole team has died, just walk backwards as fast as possible. Like why are you like, I don't know. But yeah, nothing really happens here. Getting that Spider-Man then was very fortunate. I'll take it though. I love fighting Mr. Fantastic's as Wolverine as well, because they feel so invincible, because for the most part they are. But then you oh yeah, and I died there. But then you get the opportunity to like shred them up when they go big beefy boy mode, and then they're like, oh my god, what's going on? But then I lost in this fight. But as you'll see there a couple of times when I showed the scoreboard, me and my duo are definitely doing bits. Again, I messed up the bloody thingy. Bunny hop. I'm not too sure, looking in hindsight, why I decided to A, leap the Fantastic into his team, and B, not stay there and use my damage. Ah, there we go, they comboed. And not use my damage to help kill the thing first. There we go, finally got the bunny hop right. But, you know, as I mentioned earlier, like we all make misplays and stuff. I think, oh yeah, I was like waiting for, I was like, go on, zip through. Let me try and grab you, but he didn't in the end. Nearly had him. Alright, I got my ult again here, as you'll see. I was speaking to my friend, I was like, I'm going to go for a flank and see if I can blow him up. And, yeah, take the, I don't know what happened there. I don't know why I didn't get the slam. I think I got grabbed by the Fantastic and that stopped it. There we go. Got the Fantastic, pretty much got the Adam, but the Storm took it last second. The Cloak, I don't know whether, did she die or did she get away? Not too sure. But yeah, again, ults, Wolverine's ult just blows up a team. Nothing to concern yourself about if you could just place it right. It is a very good ult, and it's honestly the most fun ult in my opinion. I just absolutely love just scooping them, blowing them up. Definitely my most favorite, like my favorite character in the game to play for sure. But as you'll see here, get that MVP, deserved MVP in my opinion. A couple of like basically leading to team wipes, a couple of triples. I think there was 3 triples and then a double. Doubles obviously aren't really much to write home about, but triples. And then yeah, you got that Diamond 2 by the end of this, so we're close to Diamond 1. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really hope you've enjoyed. If you have, by all means, drop me a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you've got any feedback in terms of gameplay, if you've got any feedback in terms of like the editing and yada yada yada, let me know. The next games will have the game audio as opposed to my speech audio, I'm pretty sure. Not my speech audio, sorry, my like music in the background and so on. You'll be able to hear the ults and be able to hear all those sorts of things. But thank you very much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.